thought I'd do this video a little bit differently compared to my previous videos, and instead of just doing a voiceover over this time lapse, I thought it'd be a bit more interesting to actually present myself on camera. Voiceovers, I tend to find them a little bit boring, not only just like me watching them but also me doing them. I have my laptop here, so I'll be going through the actual video and then I'm going to be chatting and discussing. So for this particular commission, it was for an online friend. I'd known her for like over 10 years, and this was a memorial portrait, and I worked from 2 separate photos and painted them together. You know, I've had commissions in the past, whether it's people or pets, and clients want me to put these photos together simply because, you know, there's not an original picture of them together or one of them has passed away, which is the case in this particular commission. So normally I would ask for maybe a few photos of each subject, and then I will see which ones fit together best. So then I created a mock-up and I sent it to her and she approved it, so I went straight ahead to paint it. I think the size of this commission was either a 9 by 12 or an 11 by 14. I think originally she wanted an 8 by 10, but I recommended maybe a size bigger, so it could have been a 9 by 12. Just generally, if you want to have like a lot of detail in a painting or a portrait, you'd want to go a little bit bigger so that there's more room for detail, and you know, more detail, it just means it's more realistic looking. So normally with my commissions I use the grid method. I know people have their own way of drawing sketches. They'll freehand it, or they will use like a projector, or they'll use carbon paper and transfer it like that. I've always just used the grid method. I learned it in high school and it's just always been the method that I've used. For me with commissions, I like accuracy, I like proportions being like completely exact to the reference, and within like the last 5-6 years when I've been doing this professionally, like it hasn't let me down, so it's great. But also a question that I get with the grid method when it comes to painting, like how do I seal it, because obviously it's pencil. I use a clear gesso and then I use the silicone scraping thingy. I don't know exactly what this is called, but I got it from Amazon. It's just like it's like a silicone kind of scraping tool. I don't know what you'd search for on Amazon. It was listed in a video that I saw and I just bought it because I thought, oh, that's great. But basically you just want to apply the gesso like this, and because it's really soft, it's not gonna like scrape the canvas, and you just want to make sure that there's like a nice even layer on your canvas. So that'll basically just seal in the pencil, and then you can wait maybe an hour or two and then you can get to painting. Because this was a portrait with people as my subjects, I did a little wash in burnt sienna. I've never really found the need to tint my canvas when it comes to pet portraits for some reason. It's just with people portraits and skin tones, and I'm just making sure I'm able to capture it just like how it is in the picture. And it's just a step that I need to do, and I see a lot of people do this with people portraits, so I definitely think it helps. That's why I do this. So when it comes to painting in oils, like you normally use a few different layers unless you're doing alla prima, which is all in one layer. But for me, portraits, this is basically how I work and how I do things. It'll be different for different artists, you know, everyone has their own kind of style and process, but basically for me, how I structure my layers, so like my first layer is usually a colour blocking, and basically I just want the entire canvas filled with colour. I'm just placing it where it needs to go because I will be refining it later. For the first stage I'm just colour blocking, and I normally go from dark to light, which is why you'll see me work on the eyes and the hair first. And generally I will work in little sections as well. So for example, I will work on like the t-shirt, and in that little section I'll go from dark to light until that's completed, and then I'll go towards like each face and I'll go from dark to light until each face is completed. And that's generally how I'll break things up, especially in a painting like this. So basically, as you can see, I'm just packing in the colour wherever it needs to go, and I'm not being too precise about it, because after this layer, once it's dried, normally I'll give it like a day for it to properly dry, and after that I'll do a bit of colour correction. So if there's some colours that look a little bit dull, I will glaze with red, basically linseed oil and a tiny bit of red. You don't want to have too much red. That usually makes things a little bit more vibrant, and then you can kind of like add colour on top of that. So if you have some dull colours and you want them to look a bit more vibrant, you can just glaze over it with red. It'll just make it pop. And so my second layer, I'm usually just kind of going over everything and I'm glazing, and I'll just use really thin layers of paint just to add a bit of colour and to colour correct. When you do this and when you work in like really thin layers, you'll start to see the colours colours blend a little bit more, so then they'll start to look a bit more realistic. You just want to keep working in really thin layers and just building on top of skin. It is a little bit of a process, and you might be painting over certain things and then painting back and then going over it again, because that's generally how that kind of works, but the end result ends up looking how you want it, so it's all worth it. I did think I had more footage of me painting the girl's face, because it seems like it went from like one kind of first layer to the second, which is a bit more rendered, but basically the process is just literally how I explained it. You just want to work in really thin layers, and normally it's just dark to light within every layer. I'll add in some shadows and then I'll add in a bit of red just to make it a bit more vibrant, and I think this girl, she had like more kind of flushed cheeks, so I was adding a bit more pink on the cheeks, and then it wasn't until the very end when I started to add like more highlights. I think it was mostly in like the centre of the forehead and a little bit up here, and I think maybe on the nose a little bit. You basically want to leave your highlights till the very end, and also if your paint is still a little bit wet, it just blends in really nicely. You just add a little bit of a highlight and then you can kind of blend it out, and it just looks really nice. So yeah, that's usually my process. And then say for the background, I will do 2 layers, and I'll try to do something that doesn't take away focus from the subject. I just kept the background plain for this, but when it comes to like pet portraits, I'll do like a coloured background, like maybe blue or beige. I think I've rambled on enough. I hope this video is a little bit more entertaining than just a regular voiceover, and if you have any questions about anything that I've mentioned in this video, like any techniques or anything, leave a comment in the comment section. I will try my best to explain this. I've been painting for a while, so I can understand like maybe my process is a little bit complicated. If there's anything you want me to break down, just leave it as a comment and I will get back to you ASAP. I hope you all like this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, as I'll be doing a lot more videos like this. And thank you for watching. I will catch you all in my next video. Bye!